Bobby, this is such a time of celebration. I want to introduce those that are listening. This is Bobbie Casalino Lewis, and we are really having a cause for celebration today as we're releasing the book, her new book. So that's what 70 looks like. Bobby, I remember when we started this journey together. It's been a number of years ago. Then COVID happened, 3 years, yes, to be exact. Then COVID happened and life happened, and here we are to this point where this fabulous book of yours is being released. Let's talk about that journey.
Well, I remember waking up on my 70th birthday, August 15th, 2020, and had been searching my brain for what I could do that would be different and unique to celebrate a zero birthday. And of course, my options were tremendously limited that year, not by me or my imagination, but by external forces. And I just slapped my leg and said, so that's what 70 looks like. And I said, I'm going to write a book. And the genesis of it was people kept telling me as I was coming up to that milestone, that, gosh, you don't look 70, and I said,
No, we don't.
and it was constant, I want to look like you, this, and I was like, that's crazy. You want to look like you, be you. So anyway, I called you. Actually, I think I called you first or sent you a text message, and I said, I want to write a book. And we had met years before when I helped you transform your visual effects. And then my second call was to Jervelle, the photographer, friend of a friend, and and I just pitched the idea to her, and I was about 5 words into my pitch, and she said, I'm your girl. It was exactly kind of paraphrasing what you said. So there began the journey.
Well, it has been a journey too, hasn't it?
Yes, it has. It has. It's not my new book. It's my first and only new book. And the writing part was really easy. It just once I had the concept, it just kept flowing. And but we did the photographs that are in the book first, and then I put words to it, and
Wove the story together that way.
Wove the whole story together, and it was such a wonderful experience getting things out of my head and my heart and onto paper. I had no idea it would be so, I'll say cathartic, but I had no idea that it was going to be so pleasurable and emotional. Really, there's certain parts of the book which, when you read it, you'll understand, but there's certain parts of the book that I still can't read without tearing up.
Well, your book, it really brings together a journey, a life journey, and the photography is totally amazing. And I know you wanted this book to be more of a tabletop type of book, something that it with the beauty and the quality that somebody in a woman of any age would pick up and just say, wow. And for most of us, we want to, we I think people are living longer these days, and there's just so much. And I think back to when I was a kid, and um, somebody would say, "I'm 50," and I'd think, "Wow, so old." Now I'm thinking, "Oh, I'm well past that," and I don't even feel old. I still think I'm that little girl that thought 50 was old. So it's such a journey, but the exquisiteness of your book through the storyline that you conveyed really gives all of us a pause for really examining where are we and what are we doing with our lives, and how am I living into my later years.
Yeah, it's the intent, and I think I fulfilled, but the intent was to, wherever you are in life, to start living now. Don't wait And my role is to shorten the window between where you are and point you could be at in life, to have the wisdom to live that space more fulfilled and more and wiser. Why do you have to journey through and fall in holes and all that kind of stuff for 70 years to get to a point where, like, it all makes sense now and I know how to do this. So for me, it's the difference between waiting and living. And I want to shorten that window. I want to shorten that window, because if you at 40 or 25 can have the wisdom that I have now, look at how much more time you get to enjoy it.
Absolutely. So much of, in your book, you talk about essences, and I kind of smile when I look at the different essences, and you do this with a purpose in mind. Could you just describe how that transpired, that you decided on the different essences of life?
Well, they're my essences, and I had to explore them to get grounded in the fact of who I am, because until you have with ultimate clarity who you are and what you stand for and how you want to live, you can't achieve any of those.
No,
So,
right.
so exploring the essences, which the genesis of that was an essence board that I did, I don't know, maybe 10 years ago. And each one of the essences are depicted on that board with words and with photographs. So it's like a vision board, but it's much bigger and much grander, because I look at that on the wall across from my desk. I look at that all day, every day when I'm sitting in there, and it brings me back to who I am, how I want to be, how I want to be seen, and keeps grounding me, so you need to discover your own essences. And I'm just giving you a pictorial explanation of how I explored mine, and how I brought them together, and how I live. So in storytelling, you want somebody to read the story and see themselves in it, because I wrote the book for you, and I wrote the book for you, and I wrote the book for you. I mean, I wrote it so that you can enjoy, my antics, or my living, okay? And because I am sure that there are very few times in my life where I waited. I've lived all the moments. I didn't wait till I lost 10 pounds to buy a fantastic dress. I didn't wait, to have a partner so that I could have a good time and go out. I really don't think there's very many times in life I've waited at all. And I think that's one of my essences. And that's what I really want to try and convey and encourage, because women are really hard on themselves.
Very, very hard. Yes.
Really hard on themselves. And some men are too, but mostly women, we're really hard on ourselves. And we shouldn't be. We're divine. And I think we've lost something, because there used to be, I go back to this all the time, used to be sewing circles and quilting circles, right? And there are still some, but the reason that those existed was to pass the wisdom on to the younger women, how to do the sewing, how to make the quilts, but at the same time, how to get recipes and how to deal with, colic, and how to deal with cranky kids, whatever,
And even deeper than that, even deeper than the recipes, was that camaraderie and that sharing of just life, the things that happen in life, because there were those kind of circles. And we don't really do so much of that these days, but it's so necessary. We really, really need to have kind
Mhm.
of the sisterhood that keeps us grounded, and we're able to learn from each other in so many ways if we do that.
Mhm. Yeah, and what I'm going to use this book as a platform for me for going forward to how to share with humanity, whatever my gifts are, so that I can help others, live a better life. And fully intend to create different age groups and all over the world, even wisdom circles, where
Beautiful.
I'll bring women together so that we can share.
Well, in your life career, at least the last few years, has been really about talking to women about how they show up in the world, and the way they dress, and the way they, all the little things we project how we project from ourselves, and little things that can just light us up a little, just by a pair of earrings, a pair of heels, or something that will just, lipstick, right? Lipstick, and the way we do our hair, and I was listening to one of your presentations, and even about how we take care of our cleavage. So it is such a beautiful thing, because those are the things that, the little things, they may seem like little things, but it's that first impression also for those that I think all of us were here for a purpose, and we're here to serve and to make a difference in the world. And sometimes we need that reminder to say, hey,
Mhm.
how are you projecting? How are you projecting in your life? And how are you showing up?
Exactly. And it's a three-step process. It just came to me. You clarified it so well. It's a three-step process. You have to know who you are so that you know how you want to be seen, so that you can be seen that way and it can be reflected back to you.
Mhm.
Three simple steps. So, I know clearly in different situations how I want to be seen. But in general, I know exactly who I am, and that needs to be emoted in any stage. I mean, you can change the wrapper for the audience or the background, or whatever. You can change the wrapper, but that wrapper needs to be indicative of what's on the inside. So
Absolutely.
that's your inner essence. So your essence, you need to wrap yourself in your essence so that people get it. Because if they don't get you, then you haven't been seen. And if you haven't been seen, then you need to do some work.
Absolutely. Well, your book is a beautiful, not only a piece of art, but it is also a beautiful depiction of what you're living, what your life is all about,
Mhm.
and how you're showing up, serving in our world. And I am very proud to be able to work with you, just to get to this point to say, yes, awesome, it's here. And for those that are listening, we have a link right down below the video, and check out this amazing book, this beautiful book that Bobbie's put together, and really not just look at the pictures, but really di- dive deep into the word, and the way that she expresses the different essences of life, and also really think about your own particular essences. How do you
Mhm.
show up, and how do you feel inside, so that you can show up in beautiful ways? I'll be very proud to be able to work with you on this.
Well, it was a hearkening moment when I pressed buy to get my book on Amazon. I was like,
Ooh.
that that was the exclamation point at the end of the sentence. It's like, this is real. This is tangibly real.
Well, when you get
Make
it in your hot little hands, you're going to be saying the same thing. This is
but it's a generational thing. I mean, my intent is for you to get it and read it and then pass it on to your daughter and have your daughter pass it on to her daughter and have it be a legacy piece so
Yes.
that it levels the playing field and we can teach the youngers, you know, how to come along and we can be allies, because I really believe women are the community and community is the cure.
Absolutely. Yes. Very good. Well, congratulations on this big day, and just to be able to relish in a big accomplishment, because publishing a book is a lot of work. There's a lot that goes into it. It's more than writing the words, and even for you, the photography, it's more than that. It goes deeper because we want this book to get out to the masses, out to the women of the world that really need it. And really, we hope that men who love women, that really care, will buy this book also
Yes.
for those that they love.
Mhm.
Thank you, Bobbie. What a beautiful day of celebration.
Thank you, Becky. And I couldn't have done it without you.
Ah, beautiful. Hey, we're celebrating today. Be sure and pick up a copy of this amazing book.